Good morning from Santa Barbara. It looks like we have folks joining in from all over the place, all across the country. That's so great. Thank you so much for joining. And I think I'm going to give everyone another minute or so just to get logged in, and then we'll get going with today's webinar. And as I said just a second ago, we are hosting this webinar live from, I normally would say sunny Santa Barbara, but we have a bit of a overcast today. I'm sure it's going to clear up later, but I really appreciate everyone taking the time out of their day to join now that school is out and graduation is over. And hopefully each and every one of you is going to take some time out this summer for yourself as well. So another minute or so and then we'll get going. By the way, this webinar, there's a ability for you to chat. So there's a big audience coming in today, so we have everyone muted. But feel free to post questions in that chat box on your control panel, and we'll be able to respond those hopefully throughout the webinar. And if not, we will make sure to respond afterwards and send you the response if we can't get to it during the webinar. So again, welcome everyone to our webinar, and it's hosted by ParentSquare. The webinar today is called The 3 Most Effective Strategies for Encouraging Parent Involvement. And we do have a very special guest speaker joining us today. So everyone take out your notepad, since I know she will be sharing information that I think all of you can take to heart and hopefully try in the next school year. But before I introduce her, for those that don't know too much about ParentSquare, what ParentSquare provides, we provide an interactive online system that's designed to help schools and parents truly partner to become informed, active participants in children's learning. And we provide a safe and private, I would almost say Facebook-like platform that is purposefully built for schools and districts, where teachers, parents, administrators, they all have the ability to collaborate to build toward a vibrant school community. Now, my name is Lynn Sillers, and I'll be your host today. I'm also a co-founder here at ParentSquare, and I head up our sales team. And that gives me the pleasure of talking and learning from schools and districts on pretty much a daily basis. I am also a mother of 3 children of school age, and that does make me an end user of ParentSquare as well. And as a parent, I want nothing more than to see my children succeed and thrive in school. So I'm always craving information, and when it can be received conveniently as a text or an app notification, given my busy lifestyle, it does help me tremendously, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this as well. But enough about me. More importantly, I am really, really excited to be joined by our featured guest speaker, Jennifer Zanzot. And a quick intro of you, Jennifer. You're currently a principal at Mission Park Elementary in Salinas, California. And Jennifer is going on her 4th year here as a principal. And prior to this, she served as a principal at Kammann Elementary, also in Salinas. And she's been in the education industry for about 30 years, combined as a classroom teacher at Natividad, Boronda and Boronda Meadows schools, and also as a bilingual resource teacher. Recently, Jennifer was named lead learner for her district. So big congratulations there, because she continuously strives to update her technology skills and models her desire to learn and adopt strong teaching practices to improve student achievement. And currently, a little bit about Mission Park, about 730 students in grades K through 6, with a fairly diverse population, 63% Hispanic students, 48% low socioeconomic students, and about 13% English learners. And Jennifer has been a ParentSquare user now for about a year. So a warm welcome to you, Jennifer, and I hope I represented you correctly there.
I think you did a great job. Thank you, Lynn. I am very excited to be here today and talk about how I'm reaching parents with ParentSquare.
Great, great. We're super excited to have you. So let's go ahead and get started. As I know many of you are here eager to learn these 3 strategies from you. So a little bit about parent involvement. Experts agree that parent involvement in their children's education is one of the biggest predictors of student success. correct? And I recently read a study from Karen Salinas. She's a communications director at Johns Hopkins University, and she found that parent engagement is oftentimes related to perception. I found that interesting. So teachers oftentimes perceive that families may not want to be involved, when in fact families don't know how to be involved. And I wanted to ask you, Jennifer, is that something that you agree with or want to embellish on?
I would definitely agree. My school is actually fortunate in having a lot of parent involvement from the upper middle class families, the higher socioeconomic families. And those people get involved, request teachers, and are very visible on campus. But then there are the teachers who aren't getting as many requests who think that they have apathetic parents. And I think what they don't realize is that the involved parents are reaching out because the teacher hooked them first. So I'm trying to show my teachers how they can reach out and connect with the parents and make it a two-way communication, make it more open-ended, and the parents will be involved if we hit them in the right way.
Nice. That makes sense. So to continue with today's topic then, you know what I did? It was fun. I went back to about a year ago and actually looked at my notes about some of the challenges that you shared with me as you were researching ParentSquare. And again, hoping that you can help me out here a bit. So the first challenge that I wrote down, and I kind of underlined it, I don't know what that was all about, but it was about the language barrier. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, definitely. I think that as much as we try to make sure we're reaching out to populations that have more than one language, we're translating information that they may or may not be literate enough to read. We may have more than one language, and when you only send something in English or Spanish, you're losing your Vietnamese population. I think that the more that we can try to just be open and make sure they know we're here for them, the ability to send a photo which doesn't need a translation, or the fact that you are reaching out in quick, short sentences. I mean, we all know that the first thing people do when language is limited is try and speak slowly and loudly. I'm going to go with just be brief and don't use your highest vocabulary words. So when you start communicating with ParentSquare, it's almost like a Twitter feed. You're limiting your characters and they know what you're talking about and they feel included.
Very good. Very good. Now, the second one I actually want to ask about, because in talking to schools and districts, it's about you had put or told me ineffectiveness of newsletters and flyers. So I know some really love their newsletters and flyers, and others are with you. They are looking to go paperless. So what was it with you that made that feel like an ineffective model or way to communicate?
Well, I think as a principal, you're definitely very busy, and so you're probably not doing daily newsletters. You're doing them either weekly or monthly, and it is a large chunk of your time to prepare it. But as you try to tell someone everything that's coming up in the next month, some of the content gets lost because it's too much, it's overwhelming. If you write a thorough newsletter, you've got 3 or 4 pages. If you try and stick to a single message, as soon as it goes home, that message is not the most important news of the month anymore. Something else will happen. So I feel like you're generating a lot of paper, and once they've read it, they put it aside and forget all the dates that were in it. Or sometimes you find them in the kids' folders later and they didn't read it at all. So I just find that a quick update that I know they read is going to be more effective for me.
Okay, very good. That makes sense. And then the last one, and there were several in here, but I picked 3 since we're on 3s today.
Yeah.
And it was the uncertainty of deliverability and the reach that you had with your families.
Well, I think that ties back to the newsletters, because when I say you want to know that they've read them, anybody who's worked with lower primary knows that we often try and do those folders that have a take home leave home side or a take home bring back side, and it is crushing to a teacher as they try to load the folders each week to see all the untouched papers from the week before, to realize that the kids are not pulling things out and giving them to their parents, or the parents aren't taking the time to go through their backpack. And what we've found with ParentSquare is that we do have stats on what was delivered, what went through. It's a lovely interface that we can download everybody's contact information immediately. We don't need them to be active registrants. We can passively load everybody's contact information. And then once a message has gone out, we can see how many of them got through, how many were opened as a text, how many got through as an email. And it's not a problem if you don't see them opening the email, as long as you got the gist of your message into the subject line. I'm learning to use Twitter type feeds in the subject line. So if they didn't open the email, it doesn't mean they didn't read the message that said yearbooks were on sale after school. They usually can contact me back. I like being able to go back in and update phone numbers and addresses very quickly, because they will tell me, I didn't get the last update. And so I'm like, well, let me double check your address. And it's really quickly, easy to do. Now I know that out of my 730 students, probably it's with 730 students, we're talking about 550 to 600 families because of all the siblings. And I know from ParentSquare that 517 are getting my messages on a regular basis.
Oh, that's good. That's great to hear. No, I appreciate all that you're sharing here, and I'm sure many principals can probably relate here as well. And we're getting some chats coming in, and I have someone named Rob. Hi, Rob. He just said that he experienced all three of these at his school. So now that we heard some of your struggles, I want to jump into your top 3 strategies, and to tie back to the title of this webinar, on how you encourage parent engagement at your school, and we'll go from there.
Yes, and I'll tell you that we originally titled the webinar before I'd really thought about what I was going to say. We wanted to make sure people knew to come, but I really want to stress that I'm not sure you can put a specific number on the strategies. I'm going to say that ParentSquare is one tool with many strategies to encourage parent involvement. But the biggest one for me has been to highlight the positive. I think that it's really important to get the message out to teachers that if they want to build parent involvement, there are lots of communication tools out there. Many of my teachers use Class Dojo, but they use it as an update on discipline or behavior. Some of my teachers use Remind, and they're doing it for deadlines on projects. But what I've stressed with ParentSquare is, let's make it about the fun things that are happening in school. Let's make it like a Twitter feed, like something that's more interactive, where you take a picture of their child covered in goop from the science lab and send that out quickly saying, we did hands-on science today. The parents feel like they know what they're doing. They know what to ask the child when they get home. They don't have that, what did you do at school today? Nothing as the answer. And the teachers and parents are sharing an experience together. The second strategy that I would like to highlight would be how you can do all that without paper. We have found that those quick photos, the parents love them. Not only do they love them, but I'm seeing different parents post libraries of photos for us. When I don't have a camera out there, I can ask one of my parents, hey, can you send that to me? And I'll get it posted on ParentSquare. The teachers will post the graduation pictures for the entire 6th grade. It's been very helpful. And we used to find that in addition to newsletters, which are 3 to 4 pages for everyone that goes home, when we had conference scheduling, you had to do 3 pieces of paper every time you wanted to schedule a conference. One was to tell the parents what dates they would be and tell them some time choices. One would be to get their first 3 choices of a time slot, and then one would be the confirmation or reminder afterwards so they'd come. And we started piloting the ParentSquare conference feature because we were new this year. A few teachers did it the first time and loved it so much that they asked to share with the whole staff how to do it, and we all agreed that we would post exactly the same date and time, so no class would have a heads up chance to sign up for conferences. And we had fantastic participation. It's easy to schedule the conferences. It's easy to have the recurring blocks done. Even our less techie teachers could work with a grade level peer and get it done. But within 2 days of posting the conference schedule online, we had teachers who had 23 out of 28 conferences already booked. It's
Yay.
truly, yeah, we had a few that were a little bit slower, but that's when we realized that their parents weren't used to the electronic communication. We reached out to them, and now all those parents registered email addresses because they can see a few more features through the email, and they're using it. They're really participating and opening those things up. So not one of my teachers wanted to go back to the paper conference way.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah,
And
it was
maybe
really great.
you're saving some dollars and trees on that as well.
Yes, we're always about saving the trees. And I think my PTA president was one of the biggest ones who loves ParentSquare because she used to always try to avoid running off flyers about PTA events. She just didn't have time in her life to come in. And so it would be constantly, Ms. Z, can you do one of those automated phone calls? And I don't like those as much because as soon as you do an automated phone call, the office phone starts ringing off the hook from all the people who didn't listen to the message and just want to be told personally, someone just called me, what was it about? With ParentSquare, we don't have that problem. They read in the text line what it was about. They don't call my office staff and drive us crazy, and we're all communicating.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, that's a good benefit. So we have, I'm kind of laughing here because the title said 3 strategies, and now on the slide it says 4 strategies. So we've gone through 2, highlight the positive, go paperless. And I love that you had more than 3 to share, and we could go on for quite some time, it sounds like. But let's go into the third one.
Well, the third one actually kind of can connect back to the conferences because when you schedule the conference, you can toggle a button and it'll send the parents a reminder automatically. So the teachers didn't have to think ahead and say, who do I have on Wednesday, and do that. It just automatically sent them a reminder. But I like the frequent updates. I think that, again, if you did a newsletter at the beginning of the month, you've got all those things coming up on your calendar, but the parents don't remember when they are. They go, I think there's a field trip sometime. By doing ParentSquare, I can post the calendar. It's connected. A Google Calendar connects easily to the website, and my parents can see what's coming up. But I also can do a single sentence reminder that next Friday is Pirate Day. And I always feel guilty when I forget to do that reminder because, of course, who's going to go out? If I send that reminder Thursday night and Pirate Day is Friday, they're not going to be very happy with me as they go shopping for bandanas the next day. I want to try and set those updates ahead of time. The minute I announce the Spirit Days, I can preset the reminder that's going to go out the week before. I think that those parents that don't have time, they're not home at the end of the day to go through their child's backpack, I can send out a reminder at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And again, my office phone won't ring off the hook. They know what's going on and they're very happy about it. I have parents who come into the office and they'll say, oh, Ms. Z, I know it's Pirate Day tomorrow. They're kind of showing off that they read their ParentSquare on the phone or on the email. Somehow they're telling me that they are communicating with me.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. That's really good. And then what's the secret 4th one? Since 3 was not enough.
The secret 4th one is just that I feel like I have proven that I'm accommodating my family needs. We know that in our school, especially, we have so many divorced families, separated families, where there's always that communication gap. The child gets home and mom may get the info, but she does, for some reason, doesn't see the need to tell dad, who has custody on the actual Pirate Day. So what I have found is that when those parents come in and start to say, can't the teacher do 2 copies of everything? I can say, no, but I can register both of your phone numbers and on here and both of your emails. We'll make an effort to get you 2 copies of the report card, but really this way you know everything that's happening. And the grandparents who want to know and feel like they're being left out, it has been so effective. And I am seeing responses. When I read the comments, I am not a Facebook user. I really wasn't sure I wanted them to be able to like my posts and respond, but Lynn talked me into being open, and it has been a very positive experience. I am seeing people like the posts that don't come to my PTA meetings. They're the people who maybe feel a little more intimidated. They know they don't want to run the carnival committee, so they're afraid to walk in the PTA meeting. But they are now reading what happened at the PTA meeting the next day. I can put out a post. They tell me they like the post, and I know that they feel part of the school. And when I do something, and someone has a question, instead of having to hold that question, they can type me a message right away asking, and I can post back either to everybody if I know it's a common question, or I can private message when it's something special. We had a big scandal recently with one group of students that were basically cheating and taking accelerated reader tests for each other. And rather than have to call 11 families and have long-winded discussions about what their child had already admitted to, I was able to do one letter that every child knew what was going home. I then posted it in a private group and told the parents, call me if after talking to your child you need more information. And it saved me a lot of time, and it was effective because they did in fact tell me, yes, we had a conversation and my child won't be doing that again. I got apology letters from the kids, and I didn't have to spend 3 hours during the school day calling all those parents. So I found it to be super effective, and I know I'm not even utilizing the full platform yet. I'm going to get better at it, I promise.
Well, you're doing quite well, and what I love seeing with your school is how you're encouraging everyone to use ParentSquare, and that teachers has really taken it upon themselves to start collaborating with families. So it's been fun to watch your success in the past year, and we're super excited. We have some new features coming out for next year as well that you'll be testing out, and we'll get you trained on and your staff trained on. So we're looking forward to that as well. And I wanted to ask you real quick, if you don't mind, because researching any new software and actually implementing any new software, although we can integrate with most any student information system and we do most of the setup, I wanted to ask you from a principal perspective, how did you make evaluating ParentSquare a priority given all the other things that you have to think about and do?
Well, I was fortunate in that our district, when they took the 8 state priorities that we had to include in the LCAP, in the local control accountability plan, our district clustered those 8 priorities and said we would have one for student achievement, one goal to improve the culture and the climate, and then one goal to improve parent involvement. And in that sense, our district is doing parent surveys both in the fall and in the spring, and we are posting constantly that we would like to hear their feedback about what's working and what's not. And the schools in our district that have ParentSquare, it was very funny because the results of the survey seem to be that the parents appreciate any mode of communication. If you're at a school that is communicating by newsletter, the parents say, oh, we love newsletters. If you're at a school where we're using ParentSquare, the parents replied, oh, we love ParentSquare. But I am saying that evaluating it is showing, like I said, those parents that didn't used to be involved. I was famous for having a heavily involved PTA at this school. They raised $50,000 a year to fund programs at our school. But that's 30 involved parents out of the 600 that I have. And I now see the other ones are getting involved. There are parents posting sets of pictures that really hadn't taken a leadership role, and now other parents are thanking them for sharing their pictures. So it ties in nicely to the LCF requirements that you have to focus on parental involvement, and your stakeholder groups will keep telling the district at the district level that they want to know what's going on at the schools, that they like to see the photos, that they want to see the slideshows. They're enjoying it.
Okay, that is great to hear. And there are a lot of free tools out there. We've already talked about that. You mentioned a few, but how did you justify that there was a cost associated with ParentSquare?
Well, I think that having parent in the title was very helpful because the other tools out there, like I said, Class Dojo was used more as a discipline thing. I think Remind is a notification system, but because ParentSquare is two-way, it's more involving. And I am from a district that has predominantly Title I schools. Previously, when we had to budget our Title I parent involvement money, we always tried to put it into, you could put it into the cost of paper to send home flyers, or you could put it into some food costs for the workshop. But Title I is pretty limiting in that they didn't want you to use it for certain kinds of food. And fortunately in our district, they centralized the money they used to pay for some parent coordinator time. But I use my Title I money because I know that I am involving parents with this program. I balanced it because not all of my students are necessarily low achieving or need Title I services. So I co-funded, I use some of my general fund money and some of my Title I, but I really have to stress that the cost is so affordable. I am really grateful to ParentSquare that you're talking $3 to $5 per student to get parents interacting with the school. It is worth it, and it's highly justifiable because Title I wants your parents involved, your district wants your parents involved, and I can prove that they are involved.
Wow, thank you. That's so good to hear. And I know, yeah, when we talked, it was after you had done your evaluation, you said, I can make this work. And I remember that because that was part of my notes too. It's like, she can make this work because you are a very involved principal and you had your priorities with parent engagement being one of the top ones at the time that we first started talking. So super excited. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I wanted to just real quickly just regenerate a little bit what ParentSquare is. We've gotten some questions if a couple of folks want to see the interface live. So Jennifer, I didn't ask you if I could show your school, so I'm going to show one of our demo schools real quick and just send a post out so people can see kind of how it works live. But again, as I said earlier, this is all a web-based software, and it's really about clear channels of communication, helping schools and parents partner, and giving it that easy to use look and feel, making it intuitive, and also try to accommodate today's parents that may already be using social media, or they're used to getting text messages or download an app to get app notifications, to give them a choice on how they want to receive the information coming from the school. And then again, we talked a little bit about the language barriers. So we have over 100 languages that information can be translated into, and a lot of built-in participation tools. So this screenshot, and again, there's a lot to look at here if you've never seen the ParentSquare interface, but just to emphasize, and I'll show you this live since I've been asked to do so, we have the participation and parent engagement tools and also an app for both iPhone and Android. And in ParentSquare, you can share unlimited attachments, flyers can be attached. You can do unlimited photo file sharing. You can include videos. We have already released, but that's new for next school year, online payments. Permission slips is also coming, Jennifer. You may not know about that, but that's on our roadmap toward the end of 2017. We're super excited about that. So really quick, yeah, what was that?
I said, I am too. Permission slips is the bane of our existence in our district. So yeah. I think that'll be great online. Yeah.
Yeah, and we try to do this when we work with our existing schools and districts. We always send out surveys, what's working, what's not, what would you like to see different, or do you have any top features you'd like to see? Permission slips was just really high up there. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I've already tested it. It looks great. It's just a matter of getting it released and having it do exactly what we wanted to do and what the schools and the districts have given us feedback on. So yeah, that's more to come later. But I think if what I would like to do is just go into just the live interface. So I'm going to shift gear here real quick and share my screen. Not the slide deck. Instead, we're now on ParentSquare. Jennifer, this should look very familiar to you. But again, for those that have never seen ParentSquare, I'm now logged in at one of our demo sites called Lincoln Elementary, and I'm logged in as a principal. And like you said earlier, Jennifer, that as a principal or an admin in ParentSquare, you have insight and access to all school tone communication. You can see the feedback that's coming back that parents are appreciating. This is actually a pretty cool post because it has a lot of components to it. A teacher that put together a wish list asking for some items to be brought in for a project. It has even a volunteer list. And again, you can see the comments that are coming in and the feedback that the initiator of the post is giving. And again, with the photos being shared, it can be anything from a look at what we're working on in the classroom to pictures of the kids, or when you're out in the field trip, and any picture will be shown in a nice slideshow. We're actually coming out with a beautiful new slideshow interface on our app too. You can just push play and all the pictures will play. That's another new release that's coming for the next school year. But what I wanted to do is just simply show you the different communication channels. So we have posts, private messaging, and then we also have kind of an alerts and notification system, which is more similar to those robocalls that some districts use heavily. Just know that that's also a part of ParentSquare, not necessarily a part that you need to use if you have something else in place, but it's there. And many of our existing customers, again, like that we have one platform that can do it all. But when you create a post in ParentSquare, whether you're an administrator or a teacher, you go to new post, everything is permission based. So my ability to send out school-wide announcements is here just because I'm set up and logged in as a principal. If I was logged in as a teacher, first grade teacher, let's say, I would have the ability to send messages out to my grade level or just out to the parents of a particular classroom. And maybe I'm part of a specific group and committee as well, and I could send information out to that committee. But for this post, I'm just going to choose a school-wide announcement. And what are we going to have? Theater extravaganza. And I'll just type in some information here. Dear parents, and I just did a quick copy and paste, but this is where you would put the body of the email. And I think, Jennifer, what you mentioned is you put a lot of things in the subject line, because again, if this goes out as a text message, even though we include that little short link with any message, which would have kind of the body of the email in it, you can say, you know, you can say more here, 6 p.m. at Garden Park.
Exactly.
You know, 6:27. And then everyone kind of knows that, oh, there's something happening, but then you can click on that short link if you receive this as a text message, or of course, if it's an email, you'll read the entire email then and there. But that, I think, is what you meant by that kind of Twitter feed, correct?
Exactly. Make sure the bulk of what you need them to know is in the subject, so they don't have to call you later to ask why.
Very good, very good. And then this school, I'm going to click translate now. This school is set up to have information go out automatically in English as well as Spanish. They have Portuguese as well. But when I click on the Spanish, it will give me a Spanish version. I'm not fluent. I know you are. So this, you can always take this and make a couple of quick changes to it if needed to be, or if you don't have, you know, if you're not fluent, you can just send it out as is, and it's really well done. Translated. It doesn't only look at the words, it also looks at the content of the message. So the translation has really improved.
Yeah,
I feel
I'll vouch for that. I used to edit quite a lot when I was Google translating on my own, and I will say that I rarely change things.
Very nice, and that's good to hear, because I know you know Spanish in and out. And then the other thing, just to point out with this, and you said this earlier too, will show you how parents will receive this information. So some are set up with email digest, text, app notifications. And again, when a school starts using ParentSquare, it's kind of up to the school to choose an initial default setting. From there, it's very easy for parents then to change that setting. So if they prefer a text or they want to download the free app to get app notifications, we of course have best practices on how to introduce this. I know you did a lot of this during back to school night with parent handouts and things like that, and also had your teachers kind of encourage families to you know, become part of ParentSquare and know that they had options on how to receive information.
Yes, and you have some lovely form letters. If you missed them at a meeting, then you can send it out afterwards for a remind opportunity.
Very good. That's great. And then we do have all these post add-ons. I'm not going to go through them now, but this is where if you wanted to add an event to a calendar, request RSVP, do any photo file sharing, put together those wish list of volunteer opportunities, or request payments, which is now available, and you can do all that. But simply, I want to show how easy it is and intuitive it is to use ParentSquare. You just click post now. It can't be harder than sending out an email, because if it is, you may not get everyone to use it. We want this to be accommodating to anyone, no matter their comfort level with technology. And this is pretty much what a post could look like. And then when I go back to the home, it's going to be top of the feed. There's also options for you where you can pin posts. So if you have a message that is very important, you always want that to be kind of top of the app, top of the portal, you can have a post pin. But again, keep in mind, parents will get notified in real time in their preferred methods. So they will kind of get the information pushed to them versus having to go log in somewhere and look for information. Now that's posting. The other thing was the private messaging, and this is a feature that teachers enjoy a lot. They can just do a quick private message to one or several families. I think, is this the feature you used when you had to let parents know about that?
Yes.
Little hiccup you had?
I did do a group message to the 11 parents, but it was private to each one. Like they couldn't see the other people in the message.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last but not least, we do have, as I mentioned earlier, we do have alerts and notices, and we have a couple of different ways to send these out. We have a very urgent alert, literally 2 clicks and you get a message out. You have had some pre-recorded or canned messages here, and you just send that urgent alert out. And this will go out as a phone call in addition to an email, a text message, an app notification, you name it. You can blast this out to social media. I mean, you can get this out to your families. Alternatively, you can always go ahead and just create your own smart alert. So last day of school, you put that text message in here. You can do either a text to speech message, and again, you can do this in multiple languages, or you can record your own message. And this is more that robocall feature functionality, but again, in ParentSquare, we have our default setting to try to deliver this as a text if possible. Now, should the text fail and that parent is only set up with a landline, by all means, it will fail over to call out to that landline instead, etc.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm not going to go into too many details. We're just at top of the hour, a little bit over. So again, wanted to say thank you so much to you, Jennifer. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Anything you want to add?
You know, I was thinking of things as you went along, but I did neglect to mention how easy it is for me to post on my phone, which, considering I'm not a Facebook user, that was something I really enjoyed learning to do, because it used to be, let me get to my computer to do the robocall when I had to do it for the PTA or when I needed to post something. And I do have the app on my phone, and it has been super easy to post quickly. And I know that's why the parents can walk in the door telling me, oh, I just heard about your Spirit Day, because the phone app is very easy to use and easy to access.
That's good. Great to hear. Well, for anyone out there that have further questions that we haven't gotten, we've tried to get to most of them over the chat feature throughout the webinar. But if you want to learn more about ParentSquare, you can always sign up for a demo. This was just the tip of the iceberg, really. When you say, Jennifer, just a quick intro to what we do and how you can send out a post. There's a lot of layers to ParentSquare and a lot of things that you can do. So by all means, sign up if you're interested to see a live demo. I'll be happy to give that to you. And visit our website to learn more as well. And we have recorded this webinar, so we're going to send it out to everyone. And we'll also make sure that you have a copy of this, Jennifer, and feel free to email me directly with questions as well. If you haven't gotten to the chat feature, it's my first name, Lynn, L-I-N-N, @parentsquare.com. And I'll be happy to get back to you, and we can also schedule a demo that way. Would love to hear from you and learn more about your school and district. So again, Jennifer, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Enjoy the weekend and the summer.
Grace, you are very welcome, and I look forward to continuing to work with ParentSquare. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.